Alright, good morning everybody. We back with another video, man. Today, pretty much, man, I just want to drive the car, honestly. Haven't driven my car in a while. Been trying to save some miles because I'm way over my mileage. If y'all don't know, y'all can see it right there. Actually, it wouldn't pop back up, but I'm almost at 10,000, man. I only had the car for 3 months, so trying to save a little bit on the mileage. But today, we're gonna drive this bad boy, y'all. So pretty much, I want to do a video today on the paddle shifters, man, because I didn't know a lot of people really don't know how to use them. It's hard to explain how to use them than to just show you how to use them. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna just show y'all how to use these paddle shifters, because that's usually how I drive most of the day. Just using the paddle shifters, because they so fun. They make the car so much more fun just by using the paddle shifters. Let me make sure y'all got a good angle, drain my camera down a little bit. But obviously, anybody who doesn't know how to use the paddle shifters, the best way for me to explain it is the paddle shifters control the gears, right? So you can control what power band you're in and what gear by using the paddle shifters. Obviously, you got 1 through 7 over here, but see where this little red gauge is right here? You can't go past that. So it usually stops at about 6,200 RPMs, I want to say. So you have to shift before that. So y'all can see right here, I'm in D1. I'm gonna put it in manual. So now it's in manual 1. You can use paddle shifters in manual or drive. The only difference in drive is if you floor it in drive, if you downshift, putting it in just the 1 and you floor it will automatically switch gears after that for you. If you want to switch the gears on your own, you have to put it in manual. So I'm gonna put it in manual, so I switch the gears myself. And y'all already know, man, I'm in 707, nothing other. I don't drive in no other mode. Only time I drive in eco is when I got a long drive for work. But that's how that go. But pretty much I gotta go to my stores, and I'm gonna just drive with y'all on the way there. So I could get the gist of pretty much how to use the paddle shifters. And the good thing about the paddle shifters, why I like to use them, is because it slows the car down for you too, instead of using your brakes all the time. Pretty much helped you save the longevity of your brakes and rotors and stuff if you're using the paddle shifters to let the engine slow the car down. So when you downshift, it puts it in a lower gear, obviously. Again, this is for people who don't know this. When you drop a gear, it puts your car in a lower gear, which slows the car down. Man, that supercharger be sounding crazy, y'all. And that's another reason why I like using my paddle shifters, because when you use the paddle shifters, you can control the noise of the supercharger a lot more too. And I noticed that like certain gears and certain RPMs make the supercharger scream just a little bit louder. All right, so we in manual 1 right now, obviously, because the car stopped. We just now starting to roll, which is first gear. Gonna switch to second. I know my homeboy, he had got a new car, and he was like, yo, man, you gotta teach me how to use the paddle shifters. I said, they easy, bruh. Oh, look at that sublime green right there. That joint fire. I wanted that color so bad, man. They discontinued it. My God. So pretty much, long as you shift before that red line, man, you good. I think a lot of people don't understand the purpose of the paddle shifters. Obviously, one is just to have fun, have more control of the car, but I think the main reason is like for the people who like to be in like race situations, it's very easy to just hold this. It drops it to the lowest gear for you so that you can have the most power when you get ready to do a run or something, right? boy's working hard. So I got a couple things coming up that I want to do. The main thing I want to do is definitely I want to do these catless down pipes, or I'm sorry, catless mid pipes. My boy keeps telling me to do that because it get a car a different kind of sound, and that's what I'm looking for. But other than that, man, I don't really know. I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't know how to explain how to use the paddle shifters. Like, you just go by gear. You can't downshift if you're too high in the RPMs, which I'll show y'all. Alright, so we can make this turn. What's going on here, man? Some of y'all just can't drive. So y'all see how long that stays in the gear because I got it in manual mode, so it won't shift until I do it myself. But remember, like I told y'all, if I was in, which I'm gonna pop it back into regular drive mode and I'm gonna show y'all. If I'm in regular drive mode and I start messing with the paddle shifters, it will automatically go back to automatic and switch the gear for me, which I'm gonna show y'all right here, watch. See, in automatic, it does it for you. So if you don't want it to do it for you, you gotta go to manual. Again, that purpose is so when you get into a race, right? You catch a dude at a light or on the expressway and you want to downshift, you can downshift to the lowest gear and then just floor it, and it will automatically change the gears for you. You don't have to use the paddle shifters after that. But sometimes I like using them all the way through, so I usually put it in manual, or sometimes I just leave it in drive and just do them by myself, because long as you keep pressing the paddles within a amount of time, it won't go back to automatic for you. And then obviously I like controlling that downshift. I like hearing that loud pop, so like that. I like hearing that loud pop, so it won't do that just cruising. It'll downshift, but it'll downshift as the RPMs go down on the car. Dang, man, I wish I had a nice little stretch, man, so I could show y'all what these paddle shifters looking like. All right, this is crazy, man. I'm driving this car on this road. This is where I pretty much started the foundation of my YouTube channel, man. I used to take all my car reviews down that back road and around this. I used to come up this road to that left where that light we just passed and back down to the dealership. That's pretty much where I started my channel, man. It's crazy that I'm driving on this same road with my Hellcat now. Just a different kind of feeling, bro, when you reach a goal you didn't think you could. Supercharger sound crazy. Thought I was gonna be able to use the paddle shifters a little more, but it seemed pretty busy. It's 11 o'clock. I thought people would have been at work and stuff already. I'm gonna go in here just to get this car a little bit of room. And we're gonna come back out. So I'm gonna give it a little pull, and I just want y'all to pay attention to the RPMs of where I'm shifting at. Sometimes I'll shift early because I don't really need to go that high in the RPMs. So shift before it's 6. That's pretty much, honestly, that's really all it is to it, man. Long as you shifting on time. If you don't shift on time, your car will shut down pretty much at 6,000 RPM. It won't necessarily shut down, but it will cut power because you can't go much farther than 6,000 RPM, or I think it's 6,200, because you'll damage the motor. Pretty much that's like the red line. That's like the safe line of revving it too much, so it will stop. It won't let you rev past that unless you shift. Yeah, man, I love the paddle shifters though, and these ones are super comfortable too. Like the way they feel, they're not like cheap material. They're pretty good quality material too, so that makes it even better. The ones on my last car, my Chrysler 200, they were about the same as these, far as like the height. These stick up pretty far, but they didn't feel this good. the quality on them definitely weren't this good. And the way, like, see how you get a little bit of feedback, the clicking noise of it, like it just makes it that much better. Like my 200 didn't have that either. Obviously we're talking about a 30K car versus 80K 70K car, but still, like, that's a pretty big difference in feedback. Like, I don't know why, I like clicking it to hear that noise. It just makes me feel like I'm more into the experience than I am. I know somebody probably gonna be laughing at it, but I know I ain't the only one that be doing that. I know some people it depends on how I feel, man. Sometimes I just keep my hand on there and push them, or sometimes I'm really feeling the vibe and I just be banging them joints just like that. Like, I don't know, sometimes I miss having a manual car, so this is the closest to having like a manual car as you could get with an automatic, man. Because I do know how to drive manual. I had a 5-speed Mazda 6. I love that car. The gear switches on that was really easy. I used to love banging gears in that, but it was all stock, so it was slower than most aftermarket like clutches and stuff like that. You couldn't bang gears as fast, but I'm not a pro at that, so it was fast enough for me. But this is pretty much the closest you can get to like having a manual car, man. Being able to control the gears to yourself. Obviously you don't have to lift off the clutch to change them. Everything is just seamlessly. Look at the FedEx guy looking. But anyway, man, I'm excited to see these red eyes start popping out, man. I can't wait to see one. Man, yo, I can't get enough of that supercharger, y'all. That's why I haven't done my exhaust, man. I really don't want to mess up the quality of the supercharger. I think that all I want to do is catless mids, and that's it. I don't want to do nothing to the mufflers, man, because that supercharger sounds way too good, man. Because I've heard some cars, man, where they're so loud, even outside of the car, you can't hear the supercharger coming down the street. This, every time I pull up to my boy's house or pull up to a certain area, they be like, yo, I heard you coming from mad far away. Like, I like that. I like being able to, for people to be able to hear the car coming down from a whole different area or a block, 2 or 3 blocks away. Because that's literally how loud the supercharger is, if some of y'all don't know. When you inside the car, sounds completely different because obviously you're insulated with the doors closed, the windows up, yada yada. But when you're outside, the supercharger is really loud. So if I'm coming from where I'm at right now, and people are in this little town, they can hear me coming in because it's literally that loud. Now, as you can see there, I'll always, like I said, most of the time I'll shift early just because there's not enough room to just go through all the gear, especially on a main road. There's not enough room to go through all the gears. So usually I shift early just to get through the gears and kind of let the car cruise. I don't know how to really explain how to use them. I just know how to use them. That's pretty much it. I've always used them since paddle shifters was like pretty much available in cars. But some people that own cars, they also just not into cars. So, oh, let me slow down with these people and this baby over here. But like I was saying, hopefully I got everything in, hopefully about the paddle shifters in there, because it really ain't too much to describe on them or how to use them. The only thing I pretty much left out is left should always be your downshift. The right should always be your upshift. You'll obviously see it when whatever car you got should have a minus on the left, plus on the right. Minus is obviously to go down, plus is to go up. You're adding a gear, so you're going up. Minus is subtracting, so you're going down a gear. And again, most of the time you can downshift, you can upshift depending on the RPM and the speed you're at. You should be able to play with your car depending on what you got, and you'll get used to it. Just try it sometime. Like I said, it's really not that hard. I know some people get scared because the car revs up high and they think something gonna break, but it's just switch the gears within a reasonable RPM. So like I said, this one here is 1 through 7. but you can't really go all the way down to 7, obviously, because I'm still on a stock tune. So the tune doesn't allow me to go red line. It goes to about 60, I want to say 6,200, and then it will pretty much kill power to my car until I shift. Must have been a nice day to cut grass. Literally seen everybody cut grass today. But that's pretty much all you want to do, man. I'm gonna show y'all too. Remember how I was telling you how you can't downshift until you're at a lower speed? I'm gonna see if it lets me do it. See how I say shift not allowed? Because I'm already too high in the RPM. So that's one of the things too that you guys got pay attention for. You can't downshift unless you're in a certain range of RPM, because if you're too high, obviously if you downshift, your RPM is gonna fly back up and you can't be that high in RPM. So that's why it says shift not allowed. Same thing for upshifting. If you're not going fast enough, you can't shift up. I'm gonna show y'all that too. So I'm in 5th gear, 6th gear, 7. So shift not allowed. I can't go to 8 because my RPMs are already too low. I need to be higher in my RPMs to shift up. Same thing with 6. See, we just went from 7 to 6. We're too low at a speed and we're too low in RPMs to shift up. You gotta be in a higher gear, higher speed. I'm sorry, you gotta be in a higher RPM, higher speed to shift up, to utilize the higher gears, right? So shift not allowed. So that's the example of having to be in the proper speed in order to either shift up or down. And you always wanna be in the proper speeds for that. And like I told you, I usually use my paddle shifters to slow the car down, because engine braking is a big help. Very big help. On your brakes at least. Because I'm at 10,000 miles, almost 10. I'm at 98, 48. And I really haven't used my brakes most of the time I've had the car. I usually use the paddle shifter to slow down. The only time I really use my brakes is like, if I'm on an expressway and I'm behind somebody and they hit on the brakes really quick, obviously you need to respond to that quickly. But normal street driving, I just use the paddle shifters to let the car slow down, and then I brake easy right at the end, because it just puts less stress on the brakes and rotors. Especially when you're doing runs, you should definitely be using your paddle shifters to slow down first. Going 150, 160, 170, 180 and then slamming right on your brakes isn't good for longevity, man. So if you're doing runs, let's say y'all do a run from 60 to 130, 150, drop that joint into a lower gear and let it slow down for you, and then slowly apply your brakes. Unless you need to stop immediately, that's a different story. But if there's room in front of you, man, drop the gear down, let the car slow down for you, and then use your brakes. Same thing with like manual cars. When you downshift, it's the same thing as a paddle shift. When you downshift right into a gear, it slows the car down for you. So that's why most manual cars, they don't change their brakes and stuff out as much, because that when you changing them gears and downshifting, it helps slow the car down. So also when you switch it into manual mode, you can use the paddles or you can use the shifter. The shifter also has a plus and minus. So plus is down, minus is up to shift to go down. So I can use that too. So if you want to be one of them people where you one-handed on the steering wheel instead of using both for the paddle shifters, you can one-hand it and just use the gear shifter. I forgot about that. So I know I was forgetting something. So I'm gonna show y'all real quick. We're just gonna hit it and I'm gonna. So that's one thing you could do too. I forgot you could use the shifter. And then same thing, you could downshift with the shifter too. If y'all see a lot of the Dodge commercials, they be using the shifter and the commercials making this, yo, and it crazy when they shift, it be sounding like it's a real manual, like with the sound effects that they put in the background. It's crazy how they make them sound like it is a manual. Again, I'm not a pro at it. I'm not an expert. I just know how to use them. I've always known how to use them since paddle shifters were available on cars. Every car that I had paddle shifters. I've always just known how to use them. Again, being a car guy, to me, it was just common sense, upshift. Well, that last GoPro just died on me too, so, because of the heat. I don't know, for some reason, these, from the GoPros being inside the car, I don't understand why they get so hot, but I'm gonna end the video because I don't want the cameras to get any hotter. But I'm gonna see y'all in the next video, man. Make sure y'all stay tuned. I think I'm gonna do I'm gonna explain how leases work pretty much, or how to get your dream car through a lease, and why leasing is the best option. A lot of people, I don't think a lot of people do their research on leasing, but for me, honestly, it seems like the best option, even better than buying. Because at the end of the day, sometimes a lease, or in most cases, a lease is cheaper. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that video. If y'all want to know more on that, stay tuned for that. I'm gonna do that in my next couple videos, but I'm gonna let y'all go, man. Y'all have a safe day, stay positive, stay safe, man. Stay motivated, man. I'm out, man. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Peace.